Hello and welcome to Module 4 of Old Testament 301. Glad you can join us again. Today we'll be looking particularly at the book of Genesis. And as we take a very quick tour through the book of Genesis, we will be looking again, of course, at the two major periods of history that are covered, that being the primeval history and followed on by the patriarchal history. When it comes to looking at the patriarchal history, we'll be looking at the three major cycles that appear throughout the pages of the book of Genesis. The first being the history surrounding the call of Abraham, the servant of God. Then we'll go on to look at God's dealings with Abraham's sons, Isaac and Jacob. And then we will move on to look further at the whole story that surrounds Joseph and, of course, ultimately that lead up to the marvellous Exodus that we will see in the next of these Old Testament books of the law. Well, following on from that, we're going to then begin to look at some of the theological themes. And as we journey on, you'll very quickly begin to recognise that we are constantly on the lookout for some of the theological themes that are beginning to emerge through the pages of the Scriptures. Of course, you'll remember that when we talk about theological themes, we're talking about theology, the truth of the revelation of God as it impacts upon his relationship with us, his created beings. And so we're going to be looking for some of those theological themes that tell us more about God, God's heart and desire and design for humankind. Then we're going to go back and we will look more particularly at the creation account. We'll work our way through particularly the first couple of chapters of Genesis, and we will make some comparisons to others of the ancient Near Eastern concepts of what the creation story actually was all about. And then from there we're going to continue to work our way through to look at the call of Abraham. The call of Abraham that God gave, which was repeated to his son Isaac and to Isaac's son Jacob. We will see God's covenantal promises as they are laid out before each of these. And then we will move into the whole story of God's miraculous provision of Joseph, who would actually be the very one who would provide for the continuation of this family line of Abraham, even in the face of potential destruction with the famine that had struck the land of that time. And so I'm trusting that you'll enjoy the journey. There will be other resources made available to you online. And again, I strongly encourage you to download and to save those resources and to make sure that you try to find some time along the way to actually read those as well. Well, may God bless you in the journey as we work through the book of Genesis together today.